I think that this is the best commander in Baldur's Gate, hands down.
Well, no, absolutely not. You talk about good. You talk about this right here. There's the thing. All the things I'm saying right now are just oriented to doing this. This all I'm saying. Like, what are you going to do about this? I'm saying.
That deck that you're so proud of really isn't even that good.
What in the...
One thing out. You got all flustered and pissed off about what you said. I don't even know what we're supposed to do at this point. And how long we've been filming this thing. How long have we been 47 seconds. And I don't even know. The creatures in this deck get so thick with 2 C's.
Your mom's thick with 2 C's.
Oh.
The names: Strike Guard, Light Herder,
Lady Celestria.
Together we are Celestial Strike. Woo, y'all! Happy Friday, number one.
It's Friday. Woo.
Hello. So we've had a full week now of Baldur's Gate being released.
How we feeling, guys? How we feeling?
Yeah, tell us below, number one, who we loving, what are we loving, just cards in general. But this little episode is going to be all about the best, the worst, and a little bit of in between of the commanders from this set so far. Now that we actually like have our hands on them, I mean, it's just, to me, it just feels tough to truly base your opinion without like really getting your hands on the cards. Does that make sense? I mean, I just feel like you need just a little bit of time to see how these cards really play out and like truly build the decks like that. So now that we've kind of had our hands on it, I feel like we have some sort of semblance of who's the best, who's the worst, maybe a little underrated, overrated, things like that. So
maybe some hot takes. I don't know.
I mean, we're
maybe
probably gonna come out swinging pretty hard with this
might
one.
offend some people, so everyone just get yourselves ready, okay?
Yeah, and quick disclaimer, this is excluding the precons. We have not played those.
That's true, yeah.
This is no precon commanders. Those might be good, they might be bad. I haven't touched them. Some of them look cool, whatever. We might do a separate episode on those. But, like I said, we're gonna come out swinging. This is gonna be the worst, in our humble opinion, commanders so far. You want to talk about a spicy take? Some of y'all may not like this. Number 5 or 5th worst is what I'm trying to say.
5th worst. Countdown from 5.
Vol Candlekeep Researcher. So it is a 2/3 vigilance, costs 3 and a blue, so 4 total. And you tap it and you add colorless mana equal to Vol Candlekeep Researcher's toughness. This mana cannot be spent to cast spells from your hand. Choose a background. So here's the deal. It's such a complicated one-trick pony type card, if you ask me. Like, I saw Josh Lee Kwai play this card on game nights and he comboed off and it was like all the crazy stuff, right? You know how expensive those cards are that he had in his deck?
Yeah.
Like, in order to make this card good, you have to spend so much money on your deck to make it a really good commander, in my opinion. Like, there's not enough win cons there. Like I said, it's a one-trick pony, and we saw it in game nights how it played out. As soon as he got stopped, that was it, right? So, and that was even with all of the tricks and the dog pony show thing that he had going on. So.
I mean, I think that, you know, especially we're looking at this, looking at the commanders by themselves.
Right.
So yes, this does have the choose a background option,
sure,
which, you know, is great. But and if you pair it with, you know, a good background, that could make all the difference. Pairing it with, you know, depending on what card you pair with it. But the just looking at the commander by itself, that's all right.
It's a very mid, right? And not even mid.
Hot take.
In my opinion, one of the worst in the whole set, and I've seen it get a lot of love. So, just me. Lady C, what do you think about number 4?
So number 4, Ironically, we're going with the Council of Four.
Yes.
So it is a 0/8 human noble. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, you draw a card. Whenever a player casts their second spell during their turn, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token.
Yes.
So
and it costs 3 and a white blue, so it's a 5 total for a 0/8 human noble group hug.
It depends on your players casting multiple spells for you to really get any value out of it.
So that's the main problem I have with this, is that we're talking about we have to rely on every other player to do something. Whenever a player draws their second card, we get to draw a card.
I mean, at the beginning of whenever you're first starting out, it almost has no value whatsoever except for just a really tough blocker.
I don't see a win con in the.
This is one of those cards that if I was playing, I would probably just never cast my commander.
Yeah, I mean, you just use it for the color identity and just see, and then like if you're throwing it out there, you're like, oh, okay, I get a 0/8 blocker, which can block pretty much almost anything, and hey, you get a little bit of card draw, and you can make a token here and there, but you're not playing this for the commander.
That sounds. It's kind of, to me, this sounds like you're building a deck for defense.
Yeah.
And that's just not how I roll.
That's just not my. It's not my thing.
Not into it.
So yeah, that's how you get ranked as the 4th worst, and probably could have been higher. But there were some other ones that I was like, I really just don't see any juice going on. So this next one is Sivris, Nightmare Speaker. It is 3 and a black for a 3/3 Snake Cleric Warlock, and it has, you can tap it, sacrifice another creature artifact. For each opponent, you mill a card, then return that card from your graveyard to your hand unless that player pays 3 life. Choose a background. My biggest issue is that it's not a mana ability. Well, I guess, no, it's not a mana ability. You're having to tap your commander, and you only get to do it that one time. So unless you have some sort of untap your commander or untap target creature over and over again ability, that's what makes it so bad, in my opinion. Because like you could pull some things to where it'd be like, if you paid 2, sacrifice another creature, mill cards, and then bring them back, a little fun little reanimation. But the fact that you're only be able to do it one time, it just ruins the whole thing for me, right? Because like I can see where they're coming from, but the fact that I have to tap my commander to do it, it just ruins it.
All you're doing is putting it in your hand. If you could put it on the battlefield,
if
then
it came
that'd
back to
be
the
really
battlefield,
dope.
that'd be
you know
cool.
what I mean? Yeah, let me put it on the battlefield, but no, I have to put it back in my hand. So now I can't use my commander.
Yeah. I'm completely out, right? I sacked something and I tapped my commander. I'm probably wide open for a swing. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me to play the commander. I could be wrong, you know what I mean?
But like I said, if they would just change that one thing to putting it on the battlefield, then that'd be badass.
Battlefield, that would make it worth tap, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that we're bringing it to the hand and we're tapping our commander and sacrificing a creature, I can't get there.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Too much sacrifice.
That's how you become the 3rd worst commander in the set.
Number 3.
So also number 2, second worst, 9 Fingers Keen. It is 1 black, green, blue, so 4 total for a 4/4 human rogue menace ward. Pay 9 life, so you got to pay 9 life just to do something here. And at the surface, you might think that this might be kind of a nice commander just based off of that, right? But whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your library. You may put a gate card from among them onto the battlefield. Then if you control 9 or more gates, put the rest into your hand. Otherwise, you're going to put them at the bottom of the library in a random order. So here's another one that could have been awesome, but they limit it to 3 colors, because gates are a 5-color concept, you know? So if they could have just made it a 5-color commander, this might be one of the better commanders, or at least more like an underrated commander, because hey, you can get all the gates that are available in Magic, right? But now you can only get like half of them, right? And so you got you got to muster up 9 gates, which is pretty much all you would have with that 3-color identity would be like 9 gates that you could possibly put into your deck. So it's just...
Well, and can I just point out too that so in order to actually have real value from the commander, like you deal the damage. First off, yeah, you have to deal the damage.
Right.
But then it's 9. You have to have 9 gates out.
Yeah.
9 gates.
Just to keep stuff into your hand, and then the rest of the stuff's going to go to the bottom of your library. I mean,
you could be milling some really important cards out, 9 each turn, and you have to do that 9 times. I mean, provided hopefully you'll already have some gates out, but you may not, and it might be 9 times that you have to do that in order to... I mean, that's just too much.
Yeah.
That's just too much, and I don't know.
It's just not for me. Just not
into
for
it.
me.
Don't like it.
Once again, just kind of fell short if you ask me. Okay, so the worst commander, in our humble opinion, Lady C, why don't you take it?
Gut, True Soul Zealot. It is a 2 and a red 2/2 Goblin Shaman. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature or an artifact. If you do, create a 4/1 black skeleton creature token with menace that's tapped and attacking. It can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, and then you can choose a background.
Yep. So I just don't see a whole bunch of value. I mean, obviously you're going to have some sort of like black background, right? But my issue is that the only thing that would make sense would be like those zombies that you just be able to regenerate or bring back to the battlefield over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. To me, it's just not a good win con. I think it's very easily taken care of, right? Like, and it's whenever you attack with a 2/2, you're going to sack another creature, so you're probably going to sack your little 1/1 skeleton. It's going to go to the graveyard, and then you're going to make a 4/1 skeleton, which does have menace, but it just doesn't feel like it has enough juice at all. And in my opinion, it's kind of boring. You know what I mean? It just doesn't do anything for me. So this could be one that people like, but to me, I think it's absolute trash because you just get a bunch of little dinks, right? And like, don't get me wrong, a 4/1, it's 4 and it has menace. I get it, but it only has 1 toughness, so it's very easily dealt with.
I mean, this could be a decent card if you're playing standard, maybe.
Yeah.
But not for
as
EDH.
a commander, or if you had it as a complement to a deck. That's what I'm trying to say, is that a standalone commander, I hate it. But maybe if I threw it in with Carlock or something like that, and I need to sack things, or I need to create more tokens or whatever, regenerate stuff, then maybe it could be something. But the fact that I have this as my commander and that's my win con is sacking things and making 4/1 black skeleton tokens, that's just to me just not
lame.
Can't get there.
Lame.
Can't get there.
Not into it. So, what do you think about our top 5 worst commanders? Comment below. Let us know what you're feeling about our hot takes.
Yeah, like it, don't like it. Who would you add? Who would you take away? Tell us if we're stupid, those types of things, right? Now, let's move on to the overrated category. Now, this might also trigger some people. We thought long and hard about this. That's what she said. And I came to the conclusion that a lot of Planeswalker commanders that I don't like. And so, like I said, and these are relatively expensive cards, so I think people might disagree, but hey, sorry, we're coming with the fire. Lady C, why don't you start us off?
So we got Elminster, legendary Planeswalker, 3, 1 blue, 1 white for a power 5 Planeswalker.
Yeah, it just comes out with 5 loyalty counters.
5 loyalty.
And
So for +2, whenever you scry, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. For your +2, you draw a card, then scry 2. For -3, you exile the top card of your library, create a number of 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature tokens with flying equal to that card's mana value. And it can be your commander.
Yeah, obviously. So once again, where I'm coming from is there's just not enough win cons, right? Like if I'm building a whole deck around Elminster. Like, I get the getting to do X less stuff if you're doing a Spellslinger deck, but the problem is that it's white-blue. Now, if it was red-blue, I could get a little bit more behind, like a red-blue tempo with that. That might make a little bit more sense, because you do get the X discount, but the exiling the top card of your library thing and then making little tokens and stuff, to me, that's not enough of a win con to make me excited to go, oh yeah, sweet, let's play with Elminster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, now you do get to, while he's on the battlefield, +2 him and try 2 cards
and draw. I mean, I get
draw,
it. Yeah.
And then the next instant or sorcery spell that you cast will be X less to cast. I don't know.
I can't get there. To me, it's another
it's
complimentary
like, that's just a
piece.
ramp card.
Right, it's a complimentary
it's just an
piece.
expensive ramp card, and yeah, it would be good as a compliment.
It's not a commander.
A commander, I
for
agree.
my money. Like,
so it's overrated, you guys.
yeah, sorry, hate to tell you. Also overrated.
Tasha the Witch Queen.
Yeah. 3 and blue black for Tasha, legendary Planeswalker. Comes out with 4 loyalty counters already on it. When you cast a spell you don't own, create a 3/3 black dragon creature token.
Demon.
Oh, excuse me, not dragon. What am I talking about?
Creature.
So you're gonna +1 draw a card for each opponent. Exile up to 1 target player or sorcery. Oh wow, yeah. Or sorcery card from that player's graveyard and put a page counter on it. Then when you hit the -3 ability, you may cast from among the cards in exile with page counters on them without paying its mana cost. So from the outside looking in, it is a good card. That's what I want to make sure people understand. I'm not, like, we're not dumb. Like, we know that this is a good card.
Yeah.
But you're building your whole deck around other people's stuff, so you have to get their stuff to be good rather than your own, and that to me makes me very uncomfortable making a deck to where I'm like, okay, hopefully my opponents, I can get all of their good stuff rather than have my own good stuff. That's why it's overrated to me.
Yeah.
If I had it in my deck, that's different, right? Because then I can be like, okay, cool, now I can steal stuff. And that's just a little complimentary piece rather than it being my whole deck is built around freaking trying to steal other people's stuff and cast spells that they own. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does that make sense at all?
It does.
Do you agree with that? Do you want to fight me on it?
I agree. I mean, I do think it's a good card. I would very much like to have it in a deck. You know, I would, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a relatively expensive card, and it's just not, to me, it's a very, if you want to spend $300 on the deck, yeah, you could make that card probably an awesome commander, but for just normal people, that's just, to me, doesn't really scream win cons. You know, it's a very slow, you know, I don't know. And your win cons have to come from other people, and that just doesn't.
Hot take.
Don't like it. Last overrated commander, in our opinion, Minsk and Boo, timeless heroes. So for 2 and red-green, you're gonna get a Planeswalker Minsk. Gonna come out with 3 loyalty counters on it. And so whenever you actually, at your upkeep, you're gonna get to make a legendary 1/1 red hamster creature token with trample and haste.
And it's so cute.
Yeah, it's named Boo, and it's awesome. And don't get me wrong, I love Boo. It's been in it was in the last D&D set. I love Boo. It's
really
it's a very cute little guy.
Very cute.
The +1 ability, you put 3 1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature and with trample on it. So it has to have, or with trample or haste. So everything has to have trample or haste. Then you can -2 sack a creature. When you do, it's going to deal X damage to any target where X is that creature's power. If the sacrificed creature was a hamster, draw X cards. And so I get it. You can fling, and that's cool and all, but you have to have only trample and haste in your deck, right? Which isn't super hard with green and red, I get it. But if I want to fling stuff, I would rather just play Zeotora, right? Like if I'm gonna spend the money on a fling deck, I would rather do just about any other, definitely not Planeswalker. I would rather do any other commander, and I could put this in my Zeotora deck, and it would be awesome, right? Because I get to always make that boo token or whatever, and then I get double the sack triggers to go at someone's face.
Ooh, yeah.
Rather than just having the one trick pony. Because if your Planeswalker and or boo gets removed, your whole plan is chalked. And that, once again, it's putting it into a box. It's too one trick pony for something that's gotten so much love and that's relatively expensive. So just, once again, not my cup of tea. But tell us in the comments below.
What do you think?
Are we dumb?
Do you hate us now?
Something we're missing? I mean, I don't get it, but to me, very overrated cards.
I mean, it is what it is. I stand by it.
Yeah, there's not very many Planeswalker commanders that I like, but.
So now we're going to shift gears just a touch.
Yes.
And we're going to start going to the cards that we think are overhated.
Yeah, not overrated.
AKA, they're getting a little more hate than we think that they should be getting.
Yeah, that's, it's really, it just grinds my gears, right? Because I see these cards and basically they're getting put down in that bottom tier, or like people are calling them trash. And I'm like, well, maybe I'm just want to give y'all an alternate view, because I feel like if with the right combinations, these are actually pretty solid commanders. We're not saying amazing, but I think they could be pretty fun. And the first one is Abdel Adrian Gordion's Ward.
Go Ryan.
Yeah. 4 and a white, so 5 total for a 4/4 legendary human warrior. Whenever it enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each permanent exiled this way. Choose a background. So here's the deal. I understand people are like, oh, it's the non-land permanents or whatever. Like, oh, I got to sack all my stuff. I get it. But here's the deal. You pair it up with a good background, and you build it very similar to the Lulu deck. Now we're getting something like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of the, Feywild Visitor. So pair this one up. It's for 2 and a blue for the background. Commander creatures you own, whenever one or more non-creature tokens you control deal damage to a player, you create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon creature token with flying. So if you're doing Abdel, go get your swings in, get the tokens going or whatever. You can also do the Sword Coast Sailor, always coming in unblocked and stuff like that. That's the one in the blue for whenever this creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life, this creature can't be blocked this turn. So just put those 2 cards in there alone in any order. Makes it kind of valuable. And then you're doing the flick aspect like we did with Lulu, and you're bringing this right back out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just keep flicking it on your end step, and you're gonna make you sack, or no, you don't sack them, but you exile all of those non-land permanents. You're not losing them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
you're
people
just getting to create a whole bunch of 1/1s,
right?
And then you can bring them back and you can create a gazillion.
That's what I'm saying. You're just gonna keep flicking them back and making a quadrillion 1/1 tokens, and then get things that pump your tokens, right? Like that. There's so much in white that synergizes with token decks. I don't know why you wouldn't make a token flicker with Abdel and have a blast. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's getting a little too much hate, and so that's why I think it's overhated.
So Rasad in Bashir.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Maybe.
But
That's
we'll
our next
see.
one.
Yeah. Human Monk. He is a 2 and a white for a 0/3. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Whenever it attacks, if you have the initiative, double the toughness of each creature you control until the end of turn. Choose a background.
Yes.
So yeah, so this one is really cool because especially if you have a bunch of creatures, you could, you know, like, they're cheaper.
Right.
The creatures with higher toughness are cheaper, like the Ornithopter of Paradise.
Yes.
You know, you've got a 0/3 ramp. It now becomes a
2/2 in the air, like out of nowhere, right? And that's a 25-cent card, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can make this deck.
Well, no, I mean when
cheap.
it attacks, it assigns combat damage equal to its toughness, so it's going to assign 3. If you have the initiative, it's going to be a 6.
Well, I meant Ornithopter would be a 0/2, so it'd be a 2/2 in the air.
Yeah.
And but you're right. Like, whenever you have the initiative, which you take the initiative with a lot of cards in this set, so that's what you want to focus on, is having things that take the initiative, right? So a couple of backgrounds that I would consider with this one: Scion of Hollister. It is 1. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's 1 and a black. So you're going to get black added to your identity. There's a lot of black cards in this set that have you take the initiative or you venture into the dungeon, things like that. But commander creatures you own have the first time that you would draw a card each turn. Instead, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your graveyard, the other back on top of your library, then draw a card. So you get to surveil each turn, and that's huge because you get tons of card advantage at that point. You get to see, oh, my top 2 cards, put that in the graveyard because it sucks. Oh, I need a land. Oh, finally, you know, that kind of stuff. Getting to see 2 cards every single time you're going to your draw step, huge advantage. Also, though, you could do Dungeon Delver. It's a 1 and a blue for a legendary enchantment background. Commander creatures you own have room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. So obviously, we're taking the initiative. We're going to be doing dungeons in general. You get to add blue to the color identity of the commander. You're going to double your dungeons and stuff like that. And as long as you have that initiative, you're going to double the toughness of each creature you control, and then they're going to do double their damage. And I can just think of, I want to say it's called Giant Ox, and it's a 0/6, just ox creature. It's nothing. It's like a, it is. It's Giant Ox. It's a 0/6, and it crews vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. We're not really doing vehicles. That's not probably what I would do with this deck, but a 0/6 now is a 6/6, and then it's double. It would be a 12/12
for a 2-drop card.
For 2 mana for 1 and a white.
That's
so way overhated that you couldn't make this work. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are acting like this is the trashiest commander in the set, and it's actually pretty dang fun, I would say, to an extent. So I don't know. That's just me. Y'all, like I said before, let us know in the comments. What are y'all thinking? What is that? Are we crazy? Is it not overhated? Because I feel like I've seen nothing but hate for those cards, and add some other ones in there. But Lady C, where are we off to next?
So now, guys, we are going into the underrated category. So who's not getting the love that they deserve, you know? I mean, those other cards that we think that they were overhated, we don't necessarily, think that there was reason for, an excessive amount of love, but we don't think that there was need for that kind of hate. But these cards, we feel like they're not getting the love that they deserve.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. And the first one is Nalia de Arnis. And I could be completely butchering that.
Let's just preface this. We could be butchering any of the names at any given time. And we should make a compilation sometime of us butchering.
Just yell at us if we do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for 1 and a white black, you get a 3/3 human rogue. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. Already a huge fan of that. You may cast cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard spells from the top of your library. That's going to come in handy here. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, which means you have 4 of a cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard, that's how parties work in MTG, just so that's transparent to everybody. Put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain death touch until end of turn. So it's pretty awesome. You're basically going to create full parties which is awesome. You just need 4 for a full party. And then you put 1/1 counters on them, and they're all going to get Death Touch, and you're going to have a lot of fun, I think. So not only being able to look at your top card of your library at any time, always awesome, because anytime you can see what you're about to get, you can plan out your game a little better. But all of the synergy part of having the parties and stuff like that, super underrated. I don't feel like it's getting talked about enough, if you ask me.
It's a cheap commander,
Yep.
and I mean, it wouldn't take very long for you to start getting your creatures buffed up.
Not at all. Rogues and clerics and warriors and wizards, there's super cheap ones, so
and
you're
they
just going
have
to get them
death
out there.
touch.
Exactly.
No one wants to block death touch.
They're about to get a bunch of 1/1 counters on them and then
Yeah.
get Death Touch. Are you kidding me? That's incredibly insane to deal with, and so, hello.
Oh.
Anyway, on to the next one, Lady C.
Kadira, Caller of the Small. It is a 1 colorless, green and white. I guess it doesn't have to be colors.
Generic, yeah.
Generic. 1 green and a white. Legendary Orc Ranger 3/3 with Trample. Whenever Kadira, Caller of the Small, deals combat damage to a player for each token you control, create a 1/1 White Rabbit creature token.
Yes. So, basically, I would just be getting my Maja deck and making Kadira the commander. You just want to make a token deck. And what's crazy is that not many token decks have this effect where you
can make more tokens based off of how many tokens that you already
Exactly.
have.
It's
I mean,
like-
that's kind of like how Krinko does it,
a little, well,
but it doubles your tokens every single time instead
Yeah.
of just adding like 1 extra. You know
right.
what I mean?
That's the thing. It's like, oh, I added 1/1 counter, and then I'm going to make that many goblins for whatever my power is
But
with
this
Krinko.
is-
This is like
I
all your
mean-
tokens, and then I'm going to double those tokens with 1/1 White Rabbit tokens. And like I said, with Maja, you get the creature pump. And you're going to make more tokens anytime land enters. You know what I'm saying? And then there's tons of token pumps that are in white and green. So, y'all, the possibilities with Kadira, very excited to. It's actually coming in the mail here pretty quick. And so I'm excited to construct this one and fully play it rather than just play testing it. So I think this is an extremely underrated commander. Very fun. You can overwhelm your opponent within, 5 turns, basically.
Probably.
I mean, so, I don't know. And plus, they're little 1/1 white rabbits. So, come on.
Yeah.
It's a good time. It's fun. Lady C, what about this one?
He always gives me the hardest one. to
Yep, that's
pronounce.
why I did that.
Lae'zel Vlaakith's champion.
Nice. That was actually pretty good.
Vlaakith or Vlaakith?
I think it's Blacketh.
Vlaakith's champion.
Yeah.
2 and a white for a 3/3 Gith warrior.
Yes.
If you would put 1 or more counters on a creature or planeswalker you control or on yourself, put that many +1 of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, and you can choose a background.
Yep. So my background, I would think here, I'd go Master Chef. So Master Chef is 2 and a green, so you get to add green to the combo here, and there's so much in white and green that is all about counters, right? Death touch counters, 1/1 counters in general, right? So Commander Chef, you're going to have commander creatures you own, have this creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it, and then other creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on them. So
Everything's going to come on with 2/2.
that would be 2 1/1 counters with Lae'zel out there. And then if you get like Vorinclex out there, all of a sudden you're quadrupling these things and it's just out of control. So
That's amazing.
so it's pretty awesome,
It
and
has some great potential, I would say.
100%.
It needs more love, for sure.
It's just not getting it, you know? I'm not seeing people being like, yeah, Lae'zel, she is so good. Like, nobody's saying that, right? I didn't see that about Kadira either. And so that's why these are underrated commanders. They're just not getting talked about enough, if you ask us. So
And we do have some honorable mentions that we'd like to bring up before we get into the top 5.
yeah, and before that too, make sure that you comment and let us know who you think's underrated in this set, because obviously we only did 3. There's probably more that are underrated. There's
sure.
just the few that stuck out to our mind. But
sure.
but yeah, let's get into some honorable mentions like Lady C was talking about. So first up, let's talk about Miram Sentinel Worm. It is 3 green, blue, red for a 6/6 Dragon Spirit, flying and ward 2. So whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that is a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary.
Ooh,
Absolutely insane
that's
mechanic.
really good.
And the only reason it's in the honorable mention category and not in the top 5 is because I got this in the Dragon. You know what I mean? I got it in a 5-color dragon deck to where I can get this card out there and all of my other huge dragons, because I really want it with more than just green, blue, and red limitations. I want all the colors because there's really good white and black ones as well. You could get away with this, obviously, as being your commander. That's why it's here as honorable mention, and it's one of the more powerful cards I've seen. But if you throw it in a 5-color deck,
You're out of control.
the thing is that I'm thinking in my Dragon, you have this out, and then you cast Dragon, you're gonna get 2 Dragons. That is, I can't even fathom what that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that against you.
No, I'm gonna play it against you.
Well, anyway, but that's
my deck. Dibs on that one.
yeah. I bet you do. Yeah, that's an incredibly powerful card no matter what. So it just didn't catch the top 5 because I'm not gonna run it as a commander. You could easily make a case for it being top 5 no matter what. It's just gonna be a complimentary piece to one of my other more powerful commanders. So
Yeah, tell us what you think about that.
yes, yeah. Let us know if that's if I don't have it in the right place. If it needs to be in the top 5, let me know. But also, I have a CDH honorable mention. So this is one that I'm probably not gonna run a ton of because I don't really get down with the CDH as much. But if you're into CDH, easily see this going off. It is Nira Wild Mage. It's expensive, but in CDH you can ramp up extremely quickly and it's all good. 4 blue red for a 2/7 legendary creature human elf shaman. Stick with us on this, it's got a lot of flavor. When you cast a spell, you may put it on the bottom of its owner's library. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. So, what I'm thinking is, especially in like a CDH realm, you're gonna be wanting to cheat out cards like you play an opt, right? Hey, it's just a little 1-drop, scry 1, draw a card, right? Well, I can put that on the bottom of my library now after that. Then I can it's not cascading, but it's kind of like that. You're just looking for a non-land, so you flip up, you get Blightsteel Colossus. So instead of having to pay 12 mana for it, you get it without paying its mana cost, you only paid 1. And then it's an 11/11 Golem, trample and infect.
Ooh.
It's indestructible, and if it would be put in the graveyard from anywhere, you're actually going to shuffle it into its owner's library instead. So it's one of the more powerful cards in Magic. I was also thinking maybe this one as well, Lady C.
Maybe the what is that?
Emrakul?
The
Yep.
Promised End. So it is a 13. Is that a 12? I can't see it. 13,
13,
12,
13.
Oh, 13, 13.
Yep.
So sorry. 13, 13. Eldrazi.
Uh-huh.
We all know how we feel about Eldrazi.
Love my spaghetti monsters.
So it costs 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard. 13 colorless drop. So, but that could be much less depending on what kind of,
Yeah,
what you got going on.
sure.
When you cast it, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn.
Yep. So you get to control their turn is what that means.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and you get to cast that for free.
And then after that turn, that player takes an extra turn.
Yeah. So I mean, you give it up a
Flying,
little bit.
trample, protection from instants.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
But if you could cheat that out.
That's what I'm saying. And
Woo!
and not only the thing is like with cascades and stuff, you're just putting it onto the battlefield with. And I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's just how it works. You don't get the if you cast it ability. This one says you can cast
it.
that card without paying its mana cost. So you're going to get the cast trigger. Same with Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. When you cast it, you get to exile stuff instead of just being able to flip and spin the wheel. You're actually going to get the cast triggers on everything of super powerful cards. And so that's definitely CDH. That's definitely I'm pissed off at someone and I'm trying to beat them like very, very badly. So not for me, you know, but it's an extremely powerful commander. And I think that CDH players and just higher competitive players would love it. But
I could see that. I could see that.
Not for us, right? We're competitive, but not like that sweaty.
Give us your thoughts. Give us your ideas. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Let us know about that one. But without further ado, y'all.
It's time.
That was a drum roll. That was really bad. Yeah, but we got the top 5 commanders of Baldur's Gate.
All right, here we go.
We're finally to the best part. Number 5, Lady C.
Saravok Deathbringer. 3 and a black for a 3/4 human knight. So at the beginning of each player's end step, if no permanents left the battlefield this turn, that player loses X life, where X is Saravok's power. Choose a background.
Yep, and the background that we would go with here would be Raised by Giants.
Oh, no.
This is actually what we have in real life as well. So it's 5 and a green, so 6 total for this background. Commander creatures you own have base power toughness 10/10 and are giants in addition to their other types. So the thing is that once you get Saravok out there and you have Raised by Giants out there, don't do anything the rest of the game and you win. That's basically how that works. If you can keep Saravok out there, you're going to just win, because you're just gonna,
unless of course you're playing super control where they keep killing your thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the only way.
If you can keep them out there and you can keep those 2 out there, you don't have to do a single thing the rest of the game, because they're just gonna lose 10 life on their turn every single time.
And you don't just have to do it with the Raised by Giants. It's any
Voltron it up. It doesn't matter how you do it.
Soup it
Get
up.
the power as big as humanly possible, because obviously
make him a flyer. That way you can get him with the commander damage, and then
they're
also
losing stuff. And this is at the beginning of each player's end step, not just ours or target opponents. It's each player this is going to trigger. It's an incredibly powerful card, and I probably could have made an argument for it to be in the top 3, you know, but there's just too many other ones that I love. But
there's just so many things that you can do with that too.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's just so many different. I could see that just being able to take some creativity with that card and just making all sorts of kinds of decks with that.
Yep. I love it, and let us know if you love it too. But number 4, I got Wilson Refined Grizzly. Love Wilson.
I love Wilson.
He's very refined.
Look at him with his pinky out while he's drinking the tea.
Got his little tea or whatever that is. He's for 1 and a green. You're gonna have a 2/2 Bear Warrior. This spell can't be countered. Important. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Important. Ward 2, important, and then you're going to get to choose a background. So the background that we've chosen for our Wilson deck is Agent of the Shadow Thieves, I believe is what it is. But basically, anytime the commander attacks, it's for 1 and a black, so you get to add black to the ability. Whenever it attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It gains Death Touch and Indestructible until end of turn. So not only do you get to put a 1/1 counter, but on top of the Vigilance, Reach, Trample, it's going to be Death Touch and Indestructible as well. That's pretty much all the flavor you can ask for. Then, if someone has to deal with it, they have to pay an extra 2 mana to get rid of it. So,
or this is just me.
Go for it.
If you're trying to make it stomp, use Raised by Giants. Gives you mono green. Then he's a 10/10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You could just stomp it out
10,
like
10,
that.
Vigilance, Reach, Trample. What?
Tons of options.
And that's
with
so
Wilson.
cheap. Super duper duper
Yeah,
cheap.
a 2-drop. I mean, come on. That's incredible. And you can just get things going extremely quick. A turn 2 commander that's that kind of power, that it's almost game over, right? So,
y'all, this next one, could be in several different categories. I feel like this could be in the overhated category. I feel like it could have been in the underrated category.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why it hasn't getting the love. I don't know if people aren't seeing the card the way that we're seeing it, but Lulu, Loyal Hollyphant, 3 and a white for a 3/2 Elephant Angel with flying. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, put a 1/1 counter on each tapped creature you control, then untap them.
Yes.
Choose a background. So basically, your creatures get, if you attacked this turn, all of your, well, I mean, obviously you'd have to attack, but your creatures get, at the end of your end step, they get a 1/1 buff and vigilance.
Yep.
And so if you, there's so many ways. What we decided to do with this is we paired it with blue and made it into a flicker deck.
Yep, and you can pick whichever blue you want. I think we decided on Sword Coast Sailors to where it doesn't, it can't be blocked, right? But the fun thing is that you get to pump Lulu as well. That's what really makes the card even more powerful, is that it doesn't say other creatures get plus the 1/1 counters.
This is all tapped creatures.
The tapped creatures.
So everything that you attack
swing out with Lulu, and once you get done with your flicking, because that's exactly what we're doing, we have videos on that, so make sure you check those out too. But as soon as you're done with your flick, you're gonna untap everything, put 1/1 counters on them, and you party. So,
and the trick is too, is pair it with, we have, for our deck, we've got it with lots of flyers.
Yep.
Lots of flyers, lots of cheap cards too, so that we're getting just a whole bunch of stuff out there. And it just builds up so quickly to the point where, I mean, seriously, like, destroy all creatures. It's the only way.
Yeah, you got a board wipe.
It's just...
It's overwhelming, and there's so many inner battlefield triggers and stuff. I mean, jeez.
So, I mean, let us know below if you agree or disagree. I personally think that she's just not getting the love that she deserves.
Yep.
I think she deserves to be in the top 5 because she's just great. And there's, once again, so much creativity, so many ways that you could run this commander.
100%.
And especially since you get to have that background feature, that just adds so much to it. And you can
100%.
make a powerful deck without spending a bunch of money too.
Right.
This could be, it's a very budget friendly
100%.
but very powerful card.
Exactly, and that's why we got the soft spot for it. So, speaking of power, how about Raga Draga Gorguts Boss?
Ooh.
2 with a red and green, so 4 total. 4/4 human boar. Each creature you control with a mana ability. So just to be clear, mana ability means either tap for mana, so if it says tap, add a green or something like that, right? Or if it has something that you can pay X mana to do something. So, you know, pay 8 mana to make a land, an 8/8 with trample or something like that. That is a mana ability, right? So all those mana ability creatures are going to get a +2/+2 buff. So a lot of the mana ability creatures are going to be 1/1s. Well, now they're 3/3s as 1-drops. So you can't get more value than a 1-drop 3/3 with no other stipulations. You know what I'm saying? And it taps for mana. You can't. That's the best value you'll get in Magic. Period.
Plus, whenever it attacks with a mana ability, you get to untap it, so it gets that vigilance.
That's what I'm saying. So now, all the stuff I just told you, it's going to get even better, because when it attacks, you untap it, so it gets faux pseudo vigilance. You know what I'm saying? So
not technically vigilance, but technically vigilance.
But it's not vigilance, but it's vigilance. You know what I'm saying? So, and then whenever you cast that's the thing, people. It gets better. Whenever you cast a spell, if at least 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature, it gets +7/+7 and gains trample until end of turn. And I can tell you, it's so easy to get 7 mana with this commander, it's not even funny.
I mean, you just basically fill it up with ramp.
Yeah, and you get up to 7 mana, and then you cast a Big Daddy. It comes out there, and then you can untap a creature and give it +7/+7.
And this one is absolutely insane. This is another one. This is another one that the only way to beat it is with serious control. Like, you're gonna have to have a gazillion board wipes. Which, if y'all know anything about us, we hate that.
Yeah, we don't even do that.
You don't do. I just feel like, if you have too many board wipes in your deck, you're playing scared.
Hot take. So I very easily could have made a case for that to be #1 most powerful commander in the whole set. Easily could have made that. The only reason I didn't is because I feel like this one might be even more powerful just on its own. Does that make sense? I don't have to rely on anything else. Just this commander can win me a game like that. So, Karlach, Fury of Avernus. It is 4 in a red for a 5/4 Tiefling Barbarian. Whenever you attack, if it is first combat phase of the turn, untap all attacking creatures. They gain first strike until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Choose a background. So we chose Cultist of the Absolute as our background for our paper deck. And what that is I believe it's just a 1-drop. I'm pulling it up now. Yes. So it's a 1-drop black. So you're going to add black to the identity. Commander creatures you own have +3/+3 and have flying. That's what I'm talking about with the difference here. I can make them a flyer for 1 mana and give it a +3/+3 boost already, right? And then tack twice each turn.
So if you have this out with the commander, that's 8 in the air, twice in a row.
And then
that's 16 commander damage. You only have to have 21 to win the game.
Yeah. And not only that, it gets Death Touch. And it has Ward, pay 3 life. So if anybody wants to deal with Karlach, they have to pay an extra 3 life to do so.
And I need to preface what I did not preface. I need to take back what I said. It's not 21 to win the game. It's 21 to lose.
Yeah.
I said win. Sorry.
Well, 21 for us. Commander damage to them for us to win. If that's what you,
I get if you're playing 1v1.
I knew what you were saying. Yeah.
I was just thinking like we're talking about 4v4.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yep. Nope. We get it.
I misspoke.
And the last little flavor on Cultist is at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. So that's the only trade-off, but you get little cheap creatures out there, tokens, things like that. A lot of that in black and red. So there's a ton of that you can just put in your deck, make a bunch of cheap creatures that you can sack to Karlach, and just keep swinging away for 8 a turn.
Karlach is the one that we did last week, actually. That was our podcast last week. So if you want, we've got an entire deck that is in our last week's podcast. So go check that out. And it's all about Karlach, and it's all about how to make that deck that is just, I mean, OPAF.
It's the best in all the set, if you ask me. That's even more than Raga Draga, which we also have a video on, so check those out too.
And Lulu.
And we got all the things. So y'all, let us know what you agreed with, what you disagreed with. Yell at us. Let us know if we're dumb, if we're smart, if we're awesome, or if we're ugly. Just let us know. But y'all, it's been an awesome ride. We really appreciate y'all's support so far. This is only our 5th episode, I believe, of our podcast, and the support has been overwhelming and amazing. So y'all are amazing. Please consider liking, subscribing, all the things for the YouTube algorithm to help us out. But we do more than the YouTube.
We do. We have a Discord. So our Discord is all about deck building. It's all about just getting together and learning from each other and making amazing decks.
Yes.
So join our Discord. We stream on Twitch. We play Arena every Wednesday and Sunday. And a lot of people from the Discord pop in, and we do direct challenges. We have a league that we play, and it's just a whole lot of fun, and it's a really good community. So check out our Twitch. 1000%, yeah.
Yep.
Pop on in here, join our community, become a Celestial.
It's really fun, and we have a great time, and it doesn't matter your experience level or power level or anything like that. There's something for everybody in the Discord and just in our community in general. So we really appreciate y'all checking us out. But any closing thoughts, Lady C? I think we got it, didn't we?
We do have the party this Sunday, just FYI. On our Twitch page, we're doing a birthday bash celebration.
If you're watching this before June 19th, it is on June 19th. It's on June 19th. And it's about 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on our Twitch page. It will be Lady C's birthday. So if you roll by, we'd be honored.
We're having a tournament.
Yeah, a little mini tournament. Really It'd be fun. If you're free, roll by and say what's up to us. But however, until next time, I am Strike Our Lighthearter.
I am Lady Celestria.
Together we are Celestial Strike. Y'all take it sleazy. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye-bye.